What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today.
Game 7 of the Nuggets versus the Los Angeles Clippers has come to an end. And I think many people expected a super epic Game 7, considering what we've seen in this series from games 1 through 6. Most people would say this has been the best first round series in the playoffs this year. And that's saying a lot because we've had some pretty good first round series in this playoff so far. Except we weren't given that epic Game 7 that we were looking for. Unless you are a true Denver Nuggets fan, then yes, this was epic for you all. But anybody else with no dog in the fight that was just looking for a good close game, something exciting, this wasn't it. Once the Denver Nuggets blew that lead open, there was no looking back. That game was in the bag. So much so that Russell Westbrook got a technical foul on purpose. Gave up the extra point hanging on the rim just to get the crowd riled up.
Lou is now looking to the bench to make some other changes. Westbrook. Another jam. Technical foul on Westbrook for hanging on the rim. But the fiery Russell Westbrook is getting the crowd energized.
And you know what, Ian? I don't think he cares that he got a technical foul right there. And he has been a fan favorite. He always competes. And here you are up big, still hustling on defense. And why not? Hang on the rim and swing for a little bit. He says he doesn't care. Something like that.
And considering how abysmal the Los Angeles Clippers were shooting free throws, maybe he just assumed as well, they ain't gonna hit these free throws anyway. I'm not breaking down plays. I'm not breaking down coaching decisions. I'm not breaking down player adjustments, coaching adjustments. I'm not doing, it's unnecessary. The Clippers just got their ass beat. Point blank, period. Break it down how you want to. Any facet of the game you can look at, it was just domination. They got their ass beat. Old school style, with a switch, with a belt, with a paddle, with a slipper, whatever your mom and dad could get their hand on and beat your ass. That is what the Nuggets did to the Clippers. They would have needed a 50 piece out of Kawhi Leonard to pull this one out of their ass. They would have. And James Harden, right on cue, a bit of a disappearing act. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists. Nothing to write home about. Nobody showed up for the Clippers. It wasn't just James Harden. Nobody showed up to the Clippers. Maybe except Big Zoo. 10 points, 14 rebounds. Not bad. About on par from what we expect from Big Zoo. Did a pretty decent job trying to handle Joker this series. I got to give it to him. Outside of that, nobody showed up. Nobody played up to their potential otherwise. I think the Clippers left their hearts in the locker room or at the hotel. But they didn't bring them out on the court, I'll tell you that much. They did. And the Denver Nuggets came out ready, energized on their home floor, ready. And they put that thing away. The Nuggets did it by committee through their starting lineup, which has been pretty much their MO all season long. They haven't really went deep into their bench all season long, especially not doing it in the playoffs. Russell Westbrook is pretty much the only guy on the bench that's holding it down. Russell Westbrook is probably 90% of the Denver Nuggets bench production from game to game. That's how much he's holding the bench down. But anyway, they did it by committee. Nobody had this huge, standout game. Jamal Murray was hitting some tough shots like he always does. Smooth as butter. Christian Braun probably played better than what we're used to seeing him play. Joker did Joker things, 16, 10, and 8. Aaron Gordon, 22 points. Michael Porter Jr., 15 points. Russ, 16 points. They just did it by committee. I thought Joker was going to come out and have this monster, 30, 28 plus assist game. Nah, wasn't even necessary. at all. The Nuggets shot over 52% as a team for field goal percentage. I mean, they were hitting their buckets. They were getting cuts. They were getting layups. They were getting dunks. Defense, fast breaks, you name it. Every area of the game, the Denver Nuggets dominated. Point blank period. And let me tell you this. I picked the Nuggets in 7 this series. You can go check my video when I was doing my predictions. And this was the one series that I had the most trouble trying to decide who was going to win. I knew it was going 7, especially how Kawhi Leonard has been playing going into the playoffs. James Harden, and the whole Clippers team, they've been rolling going into this. And then you had the situation with the new head coach for the Denver Nuggets. I didn't know what their mental state was going to be. I didn't know how they were going to react to that near the end of the season, going into the playoffs. A lot of question marks about, what's his name, Adelman, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't know. And the Denver Nuggets seem to have not missed a beat. And the team still seems to be thriving, and their morale isn't low. But either way, I didn't know. And I ultimately decided to pick the Denver Nuggets out of spite for the Los Angeles Clippers. Out of spite. Because ever since Kawhi Leonard signed with the Clippers, what was that, 2019, I believe? The Clippers were my pick to win the championship every single year. Every single year. Up until maybe last season. And every single year, Kawhi Leonard and or Paul George, to a lesser degree, was already hurt or got hurt into the playoffs when the team was thriving. That year the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship, I felt like the Los Angeles Clippers would have won that. Kawhi Leonard got hurt against the Utah Jazz series, and I think that was a season where the Utah Jazz were the number 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken, in the West, at least. And they still beat the Jazz with just Paul George. And they still gave the Suns all they could handle for the most part in the Western Conference Finals without Kawhi Leonard. If they had Kawhi Leonard, there was no way the Phoenix Suns were going to win that series. They were holding on for dear life with just Paul George in the game. They were. And they damn sure would have beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the finals with Kawhi Leonard. But even after that, I continued to pick the Clippers in every year. And I said, you know what? I give up on this guy. I'm done. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. It's like a toxic relationship. It looks good, your girl treating you right, and then she keeps cheating on you. But you keep going back to her just for her to cheat on you again. I'm done. I said no more. I don't give a damn. I don't trust them, even if they're playing well. It's only a matter of time before Kawhi's going to get hurt, even in the playoffs. So out of spite, I was like, screw the Clippers. Oh, y'all want to be playing good now after I don't pick y'all? When I decide to hop off the Clippers ship, now y'all want to start playing good? Now y'all looking promising? Now everybody's saying it's a dark horse team, regardless of the seeding. Nobody wants to face the Clippers. They can match up well against anybody. All that's true, but screw the Clippers. And out of spite that y'all want to start playing good now, I'm not picking you. I'm not. I'm rolling with the Denver Nuggets, and they better get it done. So I was happy to see the Nuggets take care of business. Bye-bye. Take your ass home. I'm not a Kawhi Leonard hater. Kawhi Leonard was one of my favorite players for a while, probably since the San Antonio Spurs. I thought he was the best player in the league for a couple of years within the last 8 years. I did, but the guy can't stay healthy. He can't. Screw this guy. And I love Ty Lue. As a head coach, I think Ty Lue is arguably the best coach in the NBA. That's how I feel about Ty Lue. What he's been able to do with these Clippers team while juggling and in and out Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and some rotating pieces around them and still keep the Clippers relevant each season, hats off to Tyronn Lue. Seriously. He's been able to maximize his role players and some of the other more prominent players on the Clippers team without the star players being there regularly. He's been able to maximize those talents and get those guys out there competing and winning games. So hats off to Ty Lue, no question about it. Out of spite, get him out of here. Get him out of here. They were going to need a Herculean effort from Kawhi Leonard, especially how everything was going. I mean, a lot of their shots, the Clippers, it was rattling in and out. Like, it was halfway down. A couple of their 3-point baskets. Timely ones that they needed to stop the bleeding. Bing! In and out. Juggling inside the rim, out. Juggling inside the rim, out. Couldn't hit free throws. Dude, it was like black magic was casted on the Clippers. It just wasn't happening tonight. It wasn't happening. I'm going to do a separate video about you-know-who. Not Joker. Not Kawhi. Not James Harden. No. Y'all know. If you've been a member of this channel, you know who I'm talking about. Russell Westbrook. Separate video. Coming your way. Ha-ha. Yeah. Even I, who wanted the Denver Nuggets to win, I wanted to see a more exciting game, but listen, I knew it was over in the third quarter. I was like, there's no comeback. Because usually, it feels like every NBA game where teams jump out to big leads, the other team always comes back. Like, I almost expect a big run and a closer game towards the end, whether they win or lose. But this one, I just knew it. I was like, it's not happening tonight. The Clippers are not going to make a run. It's just not happening. I was just reading the room, reading the atmosphere, and it wasn't happening. It would have taken a miracle. So it was about the third quarter. I thought about just going to sleep, taking a nap, shutting the game off. But I didn't, because honestly, I just wanted to see Russell Westbrook continue to ball out. I'm being honest. That's why I kept watching. And he continued to ball out. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting this, though. I wasn't. For the Clippers to come out this flat, basically no pulse after that first quarter, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect that. Not at all. Especially given, the pattern of history of the series. And then at Game 7, you expect both guys to come out laying it all out on the line, giving it their best punch, doing whatever they can possibly do to get stops and get buckets. And the Los Angeles Clippers laid an egg. A big old juicy egg. It'll be interesting to see what the Clippers do in the offseason moving into next season. I would expect Harden, Kawhi, and Big Zoo to stay at a minimum, but I have no idea about these other pieces. I don't know if Norman Powell is going to be a free agent in the offseason, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be teams looking at Norman Powell ready to give him some good money. I do believe that. But if he's not going to be a free agent, then of course I expect Norman Powell to be there. And he's been great for the Clippers. He has been. Good thing they didn't give Paul George all that money. Norman's more or less doing to some degree. Actually, he outperformed Paul George this season. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Paul George has been abysmal. My concern with the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs was how gassed their starters were going to be, just because they've been running those starters like playoff minutes even through the regular season. So I was like, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this up for a deep playoff run. And they got to play OKC in the second round, who goes deep into their bench. This is going to be interesting. Now, I picked OKC originally. I had Denver beating OKC all throughout the season, and they split the season series. And I even put out a post. I'm like, I will pick Denver Nuggets over OKC. I don't give a damn about the record. I've seen enough. I've seen the matchups. But then after the coach firing and their bench seemingly getting thinner and thinner, I just think OKC's depth might be too much for them. And the Denver Nuggets starters from the beginning of the season to now might have been worn out then. Might be worn out then. But we'll see. I will stand by my OKC pick that I picked earlier when the playoffs started, but I am rooting for the Denver Nuggets. I hope the Nuggets win, and my pick is wrong. But I will definitely stand by my analysis. But I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the Nuggets win. And it would be a sweet victory for Russell Westbrook against his former team, OKC. But we'll see. It's going to be fun. The two top MVP candidates going at it, and I assume they're going to announce who the most valuable player is during that series, so that'll be fun. It all worked out perfectly. I think the MVP is going to be Shea, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, folks, that's all I got to say about it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and I catch you in the next one. We out, baby.